This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
There he is.
There he is. How you doing, man? I miss you.
Miss you. How was your vacay?
Perfect. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it felt a little strange leaving like a beach for a beach, because usually like when you go on vacation, right, like you want to change scenery completely, right? But no, their beach is different over there. That's not the same beach as Crandon Park, man. It's not the same.
What beach were you in?
Crystal clear, nice blue, white sand beach.
You broke up. Where were you at?
I was in Bimini in the Bahamas.
Oh, okay. That's a really nice beach.
Really nice beach.
Yeah, dude. That's
nice.
Bahamas are expensive, but it's nice. It's nice.
It wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad. I've been grinding every work trip to build these Hilton points. That's what this for, man. So cash them in real quick. It wasn't nothing. A little 20-minute flight out. I gotta say though, like Bimini International Airport, if that's what we're gonna call it. Not a lot of amenities. Zero amenities actually. It's just it's a waiting room. But I mean, what do you expect? More or less from such a small island.
I remember that place got wiped out by a hurricane just 2 years ago or whatever. So they're just That whole island got leveled, dude. Remember, they're at sea level in the Bahamas.
That's crazy.
They're at sea, or maybe some parts are under sea level or some. So whenever they have any kind of storm, that place gets flooded, and they got a major storm go right through them, and it just walloped them. So what you're watching is them rebuilding that back. Not that it had any kind of amenities anyway, by the way. I'm just telling you, be grateful you had an airport to land on.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not dunking on them. It was just it was building up to a joke that there's zero amenities in this airport, and it's still better than Kansas City's airport.
Really? Wow.
I would still rather sit in that lobby than go wait at MCI. But no, it was nice, man. It was nice. Just get out of town, not worry about the Dolphins for a few days, respectfully. And but now we're back and ready to almost work at training camp. We still got another few weeks.
Okay. Did you watch Tua and Tyreek?
I am enjoying the little bromance that they've got, specifically from Tyreek's angle. I think that we spoke about it before a couple weeks ago. Tyreek Hill is the highest paid receiver in NFL history. He is a multiple-time All-Pro. He is a bona fide superstar. You are not getting him to do anything he does not want to do. So I think that it's genuine coming from him. I think that the love, the appreciate, the support, I think it's real. And if not, then give him the Oscar, because he's the best actor in the NFL.
Oh no, I get what you're saying. I don't think he's actually acting. I think he actually likes where he's at, and I think he believes in this kid after practicing with him and playing with him. I think he's looking forward to shutting people up with Tua, because if I've seen sell jobs before, and when it's a sell job, it's never like this. It's never this heavy mustard, ever. It's he's a good player, man. I really like playing with him, and it's one of those quick answers. It's never, when people talked about Ryan Tannehill, they did not elaborate ever here. Oh no, good dude. Yeah, no, we love going to war with Ryan or whatever, and that's it. You never see them go overboard.
Cut and push it forward. Yeah. No, I think there's an element of.
This is Rounders, and he's pushing all his chips in because he feels that the hand he has is better than what anybody else has at this table. And he's talking about the media one hand, the fans on another one. He feels like, okay, and the naysayers from any other part. Okay, here you go. We've got the best hand, and we're going to show you. That's what it's mentioned.
I think there's a little bit of the pride in there. Every wide receiver, I don't care. Just about every wide receiver has a little bit of ego in there. I think Tyreek might have more than most. It's not unwarranted, but I think he might have more than most. I think a little bit part of him sees what people say about you're nothing without Pat Mahomes. You can't do anything without Pat Mahomes. And I
Right.
think
I
he's
agree.
eager to show, not only can I do everything that I've been doing over the past 6 seasons without Pat Mahomes, but I'm going to do it with a quarterback who y'all frown upon, who y'all look down on, who y'all don't think is anything. So
Right.
I think that they both have a lot to prove. It's kind of like a match made in heaven in that regard when you think about it, man.
Well, everybody know McDaniel's got a lot to prove. So it's all the offensive linemen have got a lot to prove that aren't named Connor Williams. And well, actually Connor now's got to prove he can be a center. But
Yeah.
Teron Armstead obviously has nothing to prove to anybody. But there's if you start to look
Yeah, he
around,
does. Yes, he does. Teron Armstead's got to prove he can be healthy. He can stay
well,
healthy.
but he doesn't have
On
to
the
prove that he's a player, is what I'm saying.
all right, yeah,
That's really the important part. Mike has to prove he can coach. Tua has to prove he can play. The offensive linemen have to prove they can play. That's really the important part of all of this. Those people have to prove that they belong. Obviously, Teron Armstead's injury history.
yeah,
That's
but he
that's
belongs.
one, you don't doubt the player, right?
No, no,
Right.
but you don't doubt the player, but you can maybe you can nitpick the money and the length for a player that has not
Yeah,
played many games over the
sure.
past 3 years, who's missed a lot of games, I should say, over the past 3 years. But
Incredibly.
the player itself, when he's healthy, is phenomenal. He's
Yes.
phenomenal. There's no
Yeah.
question about that.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. No doubt about that. All right. Um, Free agent wise, you're not expecting anything last minute here leading into training camp, right?
No, nothing major. Nothing major. Maybe bottom of the barrel stirring, but I mean, everybody's favorite, JC Treader. I think we can bury that. I think we could have buried that a long time ago, but we can officially bury that. They're set to go with Williams and Dieter battling for that center spot. Dieter's got a little bit of ground to make up here in training camp, but you've seen crazier things happen. Other than that, this roster, man, is set. This roster is set. I was asked a few days ago to name the biggest hole, the biggest remaining need that the Dolphins had, and I couldn't think of anything else but time. All they need is time. Like everything is there. They hit on all the most prevalent questions this offseason. They added a new coaching staff. They improved the offensive line. They added playmakers. They kept the defense intact. I mean, what more? They got a new punter. Like, what more could you nitpick really about this roster that they could reasonably and realistically fix before training camp? No, all they
I think this front office. I give this front office an A on this offseason. I think they have had one of the best off seasons I have ever seen a general manager have, because they filled a lot of their needs. Plus, I think they put together one heck of an offensive staff too, on top of all of that. So for me, I really commend the front office, because they had to overcome a lot of crap and in getting rid of their coach and change all this stuff. And I thought they did a really smart job of maintaining the continuity on 2/3 of the team, and then only fixing what was really, really broken. Not that the defense is perfect, and neither is the special teams, but they weren't necessarily the problem. The problem clearly was the offense. To me, that's where I have a lot of love for, is the way this front office responded and filled a shit ton of needs, dude.
Yeah, they hit them. And like I said before, earlier this offseason, a lot of people wanted wide scale change on the offensive line, and that was just not in the cards for this staff. I think they saw a lot of talent on the line. It just needed an influx of talent, and that's what it got. I said that they thought playmaker and receiver was a far greater need than O-line. I think that their actions have proved it. I mean, how many new receivers are we at? We're at 5, right? That's Tyreek, Ezukama, Wilson, Craycraft, and Sherfield. So 5 plus a former, former star wide receiver as now their position coach in Wes Welker. So I think that I think they hit, like you said, on a lot of things that fans wanted them to hit on, a lot of things that they felt like they needed to hit on this offseason. And they did everything while keeping their premium picks in 2023. Like, they did all that without having to expend a lot of draft capital
And by the way,
the
the other thing they did was they created a positive environment going into this training camp. Now there's a good vibe overall in the team. Guys feel good about their teammates, the coaching staff. So that's the other thing I think they did this offseason, that because of all the turmoil, you were able to kind of erase that turmoil and kind of turn the page quickly. And I commend them also. And the guy that you have to commend the most on that is Mike McDaniel. Okay. You commend the front office for hiring him, but you commend Mike McDaniel for immediately coming in and communicating and connecting with human beings. I think that's really, really important.
Yeah, it's incredibly important. You almost forget when you hear players talk and you see them joke around. You see the little videos on social media, the who's the best dancer on the team, who's got the best car, who's got this and that. I don't remember them doing all that last season. Like it's a more fun atmosphere, and you almost forget that this offseason started with a lot of turmoil. Started with a coaching search and a lawsuit back to back.
Yeah. No, it's funny because what you were just talking about, it's like interactive. And that's what society is nowadays. It's kind of an interactive society. You know what I mean? And that's kind of exactly what they're doing. They weren't that way under Flo. There was no interaction. There was very little communication. There was only one way or the highway. You know what I mean? And that's what's actually changed for them. And I give them a lot of credit, because in a very short amount of time, was what you don't realize, from the moment you fired Flo till right now, they have made a serious amount of changes, and it's all trended in the right direction. Again, they've got to all prove that all this works. You know what I mean? When the season starts, but at least I think you've given yourself an opportunity to succeed, and that's all you can ask for right now.
That's all you can ask for, man. So once they get in the lab, once they get in the kitchen, once they start cooking a bit, man, once this offense starts figuring out what it's doing and doesn't have to second guess and think and can just act, then I think that's I think the framework is laid for a positive season. It's a tough start to the year, but they got to stretch. They got to stretch in the middle of the season and they can snap back.
Dude, I love the tough start. I think I had this conversation with you or one of the guys. What pissed me off about last season is that we saw them lose against the bad teams, and then they fattened up their record against the crappy teams. And then that tells you what kind of a fraud they are. Now you're going to find out right away, bro. You're going to find out right away. You're 2-2, 3-1 in those first 4 games. Then all of a sudden we're going to go, okay, well, these guys are for real. They're ready to compete. Now you're 1-3 or 0-4. We got some problems. And we're wondering, okay, how is this going to work? You know?
Yeah, but I mean, like it's a new staff. Like you've got Patriots in no particular order. You got the Patriots, Bills, Ravens, and Bengals in your first 4 weeks. Like I'm not ready to crucify and jump ship if they start 1-3 there.
Well, no, I'm not saying jump ship, but I am concerned if you're 1-3, because you have the element of surprise.
Well, the problem with
your offense, they don't know. You should have an advantage at times here on offense, because they have not seen what you're about to do with
in theory, But I'm saying that the bigger concern with starting.
If you were competitive in 2/3 of your team and you weren't competitive with your offense, this is your job. You've got to find a way to be competitive right away. You have to.
I think the bigger concern with starting 1-3 is that this is not a conference that you can afford to climb out of a hole in.
Amen.
Not anymore. Amen. Maybe last year they almost did it. Shit, they almost climbed out of a 6-game hole last season to make the playoffs. But you can't do that. You can't do that right now. The AFC is too loaded. Even with the Browns losing Deshaun Watson, hopefully forever, this is still a conference in which multiple non-playoff teams got better. And by the way, teams fighting for those spots now.
And by the way, they didn't do it because close only counts in hand grenades and horseshoes. So it's exactly what you said. You bury yourself, you're not getting out of that hole.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I get it. You made a run last year, but you still didn't get out of the hole. You still didn't make it. Why? Because you put yourself at 1-7, and that's why you didn't make the playoffs. It's not the second half of the season.
You know
the
why?
first half of the season.
You know why? Because they lost to the Jaguars, and I've said for years, when you lose to the Jaguars, there are consequences. The Bills lost to the Jags. They lost the #1 overall seed. They had to go to Kansas City to play instead of the other way around. Looks what happens. Right. Miami loses to the Jaguars. They lose out on the playoffs by a game.
Hey, 3 years
losing
ago,
to Jacksonville has consequences, and that's what happens.
Hey, Patriots lost to a 5-win Dolphin team. That ended their dynasty. You pay the price when you lose to the teams you're not supposed to lose. And that first year, that was a terrible team the Dolphins had. They had very little talent on that team under Flo, and yet New England gave up that game, and that ended up forcing them to play in the wild card round, which, boom, it was over at that point. So you're
one game, man.
In general, you're right. You bury yourself, you're not getting out of it. 99.9% of the time, you're not getting out of it. Yeah, there are miracles. There's an outlier every once in a while. Some team goes on a roll. But that team was probably a really good team from the get-go that had a shitty start. They just they had to get clicked. They had to get healthy, and then they got on their run, and they are who they are. That's usually that team that gets out of that hole. Bad teams or mediocre teams,
the New York Giants.
You're not going to get out of that hole. You're not.
Both New York Giants Super Bowl teams in my lifetime were like that. I like Jose Cabrera comes with the other concern. Josh Boyer as a great defensive coordinator. We're gonna learn. That's all I can. That's all I can say about Josh. I think that
you can't call him a great defensive coordinator. He's got to earn that title.
We will see. We will see how much influence Brian Flores had. I think it's. I mean, you could tell kind of who was on. You could tell where the divide was last year based on who left, based on who was gone. Brian Flores, Gerald Alexander, and Charles Burks are all no longer with the team. I think that they were all kind of. It was a factioned staff. You know, as I reported, there was assistants who said that he had stopped communicating with them around Thanksgiving. I mean, you can maybe put 2 and 2 together, which assistants those were. So I think it's really interesting. It'll be really interesting to see. I think that Boyer's a smart coach. I think he's a good coach. I think the pieces are there for them to succeed. I think that they actually, you know, we say that it's the same defense that kept it intact, but it got better. When you add Melvin Ingram and you re-sign Emmanuel Ogbah, Ingram makes you better on the field just based on his addition and his production. But signing Ogbah, while you might get the same production as you've got in the past 2 years, but the mindset of it, what it does to the locker room, it shows this locker room, as I've said before on the show, that we are no longer in the days of our best players wanting to leave or our best players not being taken care of. That shows the locker room, you do your job, you're going to get paid. That's all we care about.
And X2, by the way.
X2, Xavier Howard as well. The entire inside linebacker room as well. Not to mention, I think Channing Tindall, once the light bulb turns on, didn't really stand out too much in the spring, but closer eye on him come training camp. Once the light bulb turns on, that kind of speed in the middle of the field.
Yeah. I'm not worried about it. I think Tindall will be fine. Second half of the year is when I think we'll see him start to shine, because the first half he's got to figure shit out and got to get the timing of the game and all that stuff. So I'm sure he'll have some, like Javon Holland. There were little flashes, and then it got better and better and better, and it just became.
I'm looking for the spark to start, the light bulb to start flickering. Week 6, home against the Vikings. Then you got Steelers, you got Lions, you got Bears, Browns, bye week, Texans.
Right around the middle.
That's when I want to see that thing needs to be illuminated. I want to see that thing fully bright. That's what I'm looking for out of Channing Tindall. That's that midseason. And they've done a good job at in their early to mid round picks. Chris Greer he's immaculate, man. Like he is one of the better drafting GMs in the NFL from rounds. We'll call it 2 to 5. His first round picks beyond Phillips and Waddle. That's why he doesn't get the respect I think he might deserve. because he doesn't have a great history of first-round picks.
What are you talking about? He hit on all 3 last year.
Last year, they had 2 first-round picks. And I said, besides Phillips and Waddle.
Phillips, Waddle. No, they had 3 that year.
Phillips, Waddle, and Javon Holland was in the second round. 3 was the year before with Tua, Austin Jackson, and Noah Ibenagami. All 3 of which you can objectively say they were better players on the board. Last year,
Tua's not a bad pick.
Tua's not a bad pick. Tua's not a bad pick.
Tua's done a really good job with
Look, man, I've said before, I think that this works. This marriage with Tua works. I think Tua walked into a situation that was not advantageous to him over the past couple of years. How many Dolphins fans can objectively say that Justin Herbert's not the better passer? And I just realized saying it out loud, I'm going to get you started on this damn Justin Herbert debate again, that he hasn't done anything. But let's not act like Justin Herbert is not a star.
I've seen stats before. I need winning. I don't give a shit about that, dude. I've seen a lot of football in my life, bro. I've seen guys like Jeff George that can light it up. And then when you need him, he shits in the bed. So I need to see him win.
I saw Justin Herbert. The last time we saw Justin Herbert, he led a 99-yard game-tying drive against the Raiders with the season on the line.
Did you make the playoffs? Because you should have made the
playoffs. The Chargers are the Chargers at the end of the day. Some teams are just themselves.
No. They should have made the playoffs.
Yeah, because they lost to the Texans. And those games, like we said, have consequences.
So
they have consequences.
You cannot lose that game if you're Justin Herbert. Okay? So the last thing I need to see, because I didn't see it at Oregon, and I haven't seen it with the Chargers yet, it may be coming. It may be coming. It might happen. Okay? And when he crosses that threshold, that he's the man in the fourth quarter and winning and lifting his team to victory, then I'll tell you that he's crossed the threshold. But does he look the part? Yeah, he looks the part. Does he put up numbers? Yeah, he puts up numbers. But does he win? He has no signature moments in Oregon, and so far he hasn't put a signature, type of into the playoffs type of thing. So
what would the narrative be?
And I will say, you guys are right. He's better than Tua.
And Mr. Torres is right. You support what you have. That's 100% true. What would the narrative be around the Dolphins if Justin Herbert was the quarterback instead of Tua Tagovailoa?
Same thing.
What would the national narrative be?
Oh, I know if he put up the points or if he played behind this team.
If the Justin Herbert that we know was on this year's Dolphins team.
Oh no, that people would be talking about him like he's the second coming.
They would be talking Super Bowl or bust for the Dolphins.
Right. They would be talking Super Bowl.
They would be talking Super Bowl for the Dolphins. That's the difference. There, like Justin Herbert, whether he starts winning or not, he's a star, man. And we might see it out of Tua, we might not yet. But as of right now, I think you do it over again. Knowing what we know now, I think Justin Herbert is the pick there at 5. Now, I don't think Tua is bad. I don't mean this disrespect Tua, but
that's the difference between you and me and a lot of other people. We don't know anything. We just know he's a great talent. We don't know if he can win yet. He might be Jeff George, bro. He might be Jeff George again.
Justin Herbert did have the worst offensive line in the NFL 2 years ago.
I saw Tua win at the highest level in college. I did not see Justin Herbert win at the highest level. I saw Justin Herbert have better talent than Tua, that he should have been in the playoffs, and all he could do is win the same amount of games that Tua can with no talent. So until I actually see Justin Herbert actually accomplish something that's super impressive, stats don't mean shit to me, bro. Stats don't mean anything.
I think we're gonna. We got a little off the point here. The point was.
I need cojones.
The point was that
in the big moments that
Jose.
You're lifting.
Thank you, Jose Cabrera gets it, man. It's like I need everybody who doesn't know what I'm talking about to just go on YouTube and look up Justin Herbert's final drive of the 2021 season to send that game into overtime.
And did they get into the playoffs?
Spectacular. Either way, but my whole point.
Here's the difference between me and the Justin Herbert fans out there. I put Tua on the Chargers last year, and they're in the playoffs. I put Tua.
What?
Yeah. I put Tua on the Saints, and they're in the playoffs. I put Tua on the Minnesota Vikings, and they go a lot farther than anything Kirk Cousins could ever do. That's the difference between me and most of you out there. If I put Tua in a place where they can actually block and run the ball, and they have an offensive mind and all that kind of stuff, he will be more successful than some of the guys that I see. You see the Tennessee Titans, he would win a lot more than Ryan Tannehill because he's a better quarterback than those guys. But when you're playing behind shit, you're not going to win anything, bro.
We can agree that Tua is a better quarterback than he gets credit for, but I'm not going to sit here and say that Tua on the Saints last year makes the playoffs. I'm not going to sit here and say in what division. Like they're going to get swept by the Bucks with Tua at quarterback. They're not making the playoffs in the AFC West either.
What did they win last year? 7, 8 wins? What did they get?
I don't even remember.
They easily get into the playoffs with Tua. Easily. Okay? That team, that running game, that defense, Sean Payton coaching, in the playoffs, bro. In the playoffs. Tennessee,
I'd be more inclined to listen to the Saints argument than the Chargers argument. Or the Vikings.
Chargers only needed one more win. Tua gets that extra win.
So do the Dolphins.
No, but the Dolphins have no talent. They're not supposed to be a playoff team. They were
last year. They were definitely supposed to be a playoff team. They won 10 games in 2020. They were definitely supposed to be a playoff team last year. That's why Brian Flores got fired.
After you watched them the first couple months, you knew they weren't a playoff team. It's like, hell, after the first month, you knew they weren't a playoff team. You know what I mean? After you saw that offense, forget about it. It was dead. That offense,
which is an issue. It's an issue, which is an issue. Like they had, yes, think Blue. Jacoby Brissett did lose them a lot of games. I don't want to talk about Jacoby Brissett because then I'll never get off this show. But
no, they only had a winning record with Tua, not with Fitz, and not with Jacoby. Under Flo, he only had a winning record under Tua, not Fitz and not Jacoby. But everybody
I think Justin Herbert playing, they beat the Colts. Justin Herbert playing, they beat the Raiders. And
I know I'm gonna go with Cam Jordan when he said, you hit Justin Herbert and you hear him after I hit him. You hit Tua and you don't hear anything. So he kind of leaned to Tua a little bit more. So I don't know how Justin Herbert's going to act when they're hitting him all over the place behind a bad offensive line. That's the problem. That's where we differ. You guys keep thinking that he has the same line, the same running game, same offense over here that he had in San Diego or Los Angeles, and he doesn't. It's superior, everything he had there, including the wide receivers.
And you know what? This is how we're going to localize it. You know who Justin Herbert had that Tua has this year?
Who?
Frank Smith.
Oh, Frank. Yeah, Frank Smith. Yeah. That's one. Applebaum, McDaniel, and who's the other guy I'm missing? There's one more guy in there, but yeah, he's got plenty of that's what I'm saying. Watch him. If they fix the offense and they fix that line, watch the kid excel. I think everybody will be on my side by the end of the year, and they'll go, okay, that crafty sumbitch is better than that guy.
I'm just saying, if you tweet out that the Chargers are a playoff team with Tua,
I've said this already many times already.
We're gonna go viral for the wrong reasons.
Well, that's fine. I don't really give a shit. I'm not worried about that. You think I worry about those kind of things?
No, but I just vehemently disagree. But it's okay. We embrace debate.
Plenty of people will disagree with that one. That's cool. It's understandable. All right, what are you working on this week at ESPN so folks can check you out?
Just hopped on the Mina Kimes podcast. We just recorded yesterday. I'm hoping that drops sometime this week. So excited for everybody to hear our thoughts on the state of the AFC East. We dive into the Dolphins, the Jets, the Patriots, and of course, the Buffalo Bills. you know, asking what will it take to knock the Bills off the throne. I think they are the obvious choice for AFC East champ right now. They're the betting favorite for the Super Bowl as well. I threw in a little bit of spice in there, though, that I think Dolphins fans are going to be excited about. So I'm looking forward to y'all hearing that. Also about to start, I'm going to start looking up this time of year. I like to start looking up stats and coming up with random situation, just so that I can train my brain to use our stat programs. So I'm not playing catch up by the time training camp rolls around. So that's kind of what I'm working on too. Got a couple features that I'm not ready to announce yet, but the groundwork has been laid. So, it's still a quiet time of the year, but we are rapidly approaching training camp. Fastest offseason of all time. I'm really excited to get it wrapped up.
Finest energy drink on the planet. It is Edge Energy Drink. Go to myedgedrink.com. You can order it anywhere in the United States. You get 10% off your order. Use our code Big O at myedgedrink.com. Myedgedrink.com. Delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. Only 78 calories. Edge Energy Drink, and it's a great elixir when you want to mix it up with a little vodka or a little rum. Marcel, thank you as always, my brother. We will catch up later in the week. Enjoy your 4th of July, my friend.
Absolutely. You do the same.
There you go. Marcel Louis-Jacques.